Hello and welcome to another episode of the WellMedic podcast for the AKT. In this podcast, we're going to talk about weight management, which isn't particularly straightforward. And generally speaking, most areas will have local services that are easily signposted. So we may not get overly involved with weight loss management service. Now, the difficulty with this is for the AKT, we're very much expected to know everything about everything, right? So for this question, we're really going to focus on one of the weight loss medications, which is known as Orlistat, and I'm sure that's something that we're all familiar with. So the question is, under which circumstances is Orlistat licensed? And the second question that you need to consider is, what would the expected weight loss be within 12 weeks to continue with Orlistat? So Orlistat is a medication which is licensed in conjunction with a mildly hypercaloric diet for adults aged between 18 to 75 years old who meet one of the following criteria. Now, this criterion includes individuals who are obese with a body mass index of 30 or more, or they are overweight with a BMI of 28 with associated risk factors. So risk factors that we talk about here are things like type 2 diabetes, hypertension, or dyslipidemia. Now, the recommended dose of Orlistat is one capsule of 120 milligrams, which should be taken with water immediately before, during, or up to 1 hour after each main meal. Now, if a meal is missed or that meal contains no fat, then the dose of Orlistat should be omitted. Now, Orlistat is a lipase inhibitor that reduces the absorption of dietary fat. Now, we all know that Orlistat can be purchased over the counter, so it's something that you have to be wary of. Now, Orlistat can be purchased as a 60 milligram capsule, which is known as Ally, and most pharmacies do not require a prescription to provide this to a patient. Now, the second part of this question was very much around what type of weight loss target should you expect. So you should discontinue treatment with Orlistat if the patient has not lost at least 5% of their body weight within a 12-week period or after 12 weeks. And that weight should be measured at the start of the treatment. Now, the interesting thing with this is that weight loss can be slower in patients with type 2 diabetes, so you may want to offer less strict goals and make it more patient-centered. So an example of this would actually be looking for a 3% weight loss in body weight by 12 weeks. And one of the other things that you should really consider is, because you're reducing dietary absorption of fat, then inadvertently you're also going to affect their fat-soluble vitamins as well. So if you want to know about the impact that Orlistat has on fat-soluble vitamins, then do check out the WellMedic courses, because we do go into this in our pharmacology summary. This podcast is hosted by wellmedic.co.uk. We help GP trainees pass the AKT.